Why do we fall in love with the people we do? The modern world tells us to trust our feelings, a romantic ideology that paints love as a magical connection with someone who feels like they were made just for us. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? The kind of storybooks and movies thrive on. But here's the hard truth. This fairy tale formula often leads to chaos, heartbreak, and repeating cycles of misery. Romanticism sold us a warm and fuzzy lie. It told us to let our instincts guide us, to trust the sparks we feel at a party, on a dating app, or during a fleeting glance at a train station. And yet, centuries later, many of us aren't any happier in love than our ancestors who endured arranged marriages to protect family land. It turns out trusting your gut can be as unreliable as someone else making the decision for you. Here's why. Love isn't about what's good for us. It's about what feels familiar. That's a harsh reality, but let it sink in. We don't fall for people because they're kind, caring, or stable. We fall for people who remind us, consciously or not, of the first love we ever knew, our parents or caregivers. That's right. The blueprint for your love life was sketched long before you ever went on a date. Think back. Was love in your childhood all warmth and security? Or did it come wrapped in fear, inconsistency, or unmet needs? Maybe you had to care for a parent who couldn't care for themselves. Maybe you learned to tiptoe around anger or crave affection that always seemed just out of reach. These dynamics don't disappear when you grow up. They become the foundation of what you seek in relationships. This is why we sometimes push away people who seem too perfect, balanced, mature, emotionally available. Deep down, that stability feels foreign, even suspicious. Meanwhile, we're drawn to people who are distant, volatile, or hard to please because, in some twisted way, that feels like home. It's not love we're chasing, it's familiarity, even when it hurts us. So how do we break the cycle? Start by asking the tough questions. Who are you drawn to and why? What traits do you avoid, and what does that say about your past? Grab a notebook, spend an afternoon digging deep, and be brutally honest with yourself. If you notice you're repeatedly attracted to emotionally unavailable people, don't just shrug it off. That's a flashing red sign from your history begging you to pay attention. Here's the truth. We are not as free as we think. Our attractions are chained to our past, but understanding this can change everything. You don't have to throw yourself into the arms of every nice person you meet, but you also don't have to write them off as boring. You can learn to see the difference between a spark that excites you and one that's just reigniting old wounds. Real love doesn't come from instinct. It comes from awareness. Awareness of who you are, where you've been, and what patterns you're dragging around. It's not glamorous, and it's certainly not easy. But if you're willing to do the work, you might just find the kind of relationship that grows you, rather than traps you in the shadows of your past. That's love worth fighting for. If you're here for life-changing insights and hard truth, subscribe to Rare Wisdom and join us on this journey to clarity and growth.